Clink. I want to cover up this awesome shirt. This is new to me. There are clear root beers, of course, but this is water. Maybe this will work. Give me a comment and tell me if you can hear me. Because, dang it, if I'm just talking to myself. All right, so this is the start of some videos that I want to do. They're pretty low tech right now, but I think I'm going to improve it in the future. It's New Year's Eve. It's what time is it? I'm looking for my phone is busy and it won't tell me the time. Oh, there it is. It's 11:26. So right next to me is my root beer bar. I've got 4 root beers on tap that I'm going to take my pick from and toast you for the new year. What we have here at the Museum of Root Beer late at night that I've found is the next door Mexican restaurant. As they're cleaning up or whatever, they just boom their radio. I'm trying to drown that out a little bit. It's the last day of 2022. And one thing I'm going to do is give you a little look at what we've done with the shop, with the museum this year, and some of the successes we've had. And also a little look at 2023. And one of the first things that I'm going to do with the new year, I don't want to drag my mics off too far, but be right back. Got a big box here. I ordered 2 signs, glued them together back to back. We're going to drill a couple of holes, and oh, I bumped the camera tripod there. But instead of a ratty old sign that it's pretty much deteriorated in the weather out there, because I made it with paper and covered it with some sealant. It's a brand new Museum of Root Beer sign, so hopefully when everybody comes down Broadway, they don't stop at the corner and cross the street and keep going. Hopefully they will see the root beer, or the Museum of Root Beer sign. All right, we'll keep it back there. In the meantime, hold on. I don't want to cover it up too much. Yeah. Every live stream needs a good backdrop. Well, feel free to make any comments. We're going to keep a Q&A going through this live broadcast. So, let's see. The next thing I want to do is explain a couple of things. I don't think you can see the links anymore because that was on my original meeting invite, but one big thing, we have a Patreon page, and I just designed all the tiers. If you aren't familiar with Patreon, it's a website, it's a program, it's a system that allows people to support cool things like a Museum of Root Beer, or an artist who's recording an album, or a programmer who is designing a game. And our goals are to see if this works and to get a few Patreons, and it's a monthly, you could call it a subscription, but and you'll see the tiers when you look at it and see some of the cool things that we're giving away and how we're involving Patreon contributors. The other thing is, and that is at patreon.com/Museum of Root Beer. And if you don't see the link below, I'm going to make sure in future videos it'll be clickable. Second, I created the Museum of Root Beer's YouTube page. Now we have some museum videos, but they're kind of nested on my channel, my personal channel. So we're gonna move Museum of Root Beer videos over there. And hopefully we will create more content like this. So that is youtube.com/Museum of Root Beer. I think it's that simple, but you can search for Museum of Root Beer. I'm gonna keep drinking, keep my mouth wet. I know Amy's laughing. My wife is viewing this right now, and she's laughing at me for having cotton mouth again, because I guess I talked my mouth dry. Next on my little agenda is to tell you how cool my drive-in was today. This is 11:33. Just making sure I'm keeping track of the new year. The lights are amazing. There are more and more lights each Christmas time, each holiday time in downtown Dallas, and there must be 20, maybe even 30 lights fully wrapped with lights all the way up the trunk, and there's one right outside the museum. It's pretty cool. So for the next few minutes, I want to show you some of the cool things that we got into the retail area of the museum in 2022. We sold a lot of them. We didn't get rich, but the work and the planning, the coordination that went into some of these things makes me proud of what we did, and I think we'll keep offering these cool souvenirs to our visitors. Let me grab one thing here. Right off the top of my little pile is this guy. He's our mascot. I'll let other people name him. We sold, I don't know, a few dozen of these guys. And the cool thing is that underneath this metallic ear tag, or on the other side of it, tells the tale of the root beer float and how it used to be called a black cow. So we found a really nice vendor on Etsy who custom makes those ear tags, and fulfills our orders every time we need a new batch. or a new little herd. Here's another thing we added this year. It's a koozie. Thanks to Vince Payne, my museum partner. We've sold a few of these, and bottles fit right in there and are kept cold. Okay, here's my real project. Every museum needs puzzles. We made 4 versions of these puzzles. One of them sold out, but it was the mascots, the root beer mascots that are featured in the museum on the wall mural. This one is another feature of the museum. It's root beer written in several languages. Here are bottles from my personal collection. Excuse me. And these will be on display in the museum. And here's one of cans from my personal collection. And these will be on display in the museum too, in this very order. So to get these puzzles made was something. And to design the thing, to photograph it, to get all the cans and bottles perfectly fit together. I'm pretty proud of how it turned out. And so that's something we brought into the museum to sell in the gift shop. And who doesn't like some root beer lip gloss? We sold a lot of these things this year. And a functional fridge magnet, which is also a bottle opener. We sold dozens and dozens and dozens of these. And to t-shirts, here's a holdout from last year, but we reprinted it. It's the official museum t-shirt. In case you couldn't read the Latin, right there. Sassafras albidum. It's an ode to the sassafras root, which is the root of the root beer flavor. The basic flavor of root beer. All right, you want to see some more? Hey, Brant is with us. Thanks for rejoining us, Brant. Just in time, because I'm about to talk about you. Brant, I've never pronounced your last name, Gurganus? Yeah, that was easier than I thought. So, Brant Gurganus. We are to the mailbag portion of what I hope is a regular thing on YouTube here, where I'll open mail. Brant sent this to me several months ago, but I am going to pretend that I just received it in the mail, and I'm going to create a fake sound of it opening. Look at this thing that Brant sent me. It's a history of A&W. Now, Brant, I hope you don't mind that I'm thinking of ripping this thing apart and turning it into a big mural on the wall, because there are so many cool pictures. So thank you so much. Maybe I'll just put it in a really nice protective bookcase. But I don't know if I want to let people thumb through it. Our museum visitors I'm talking about. I won't show you every page, but Yeah, I need another copy though, Brant, so I can tear every page apart twice without missing the reverse side of the page. No, I'm kidding, Brant. I'm not going to rip up this awesome thing, but I might. just to display all of those awesome images. And shout out to Vince Payne, my museum partner, whose collection is on display here at the museum. He's mailing additions to his collection to put on display here at the museum all the time. And this came in the mail a few weeks ago, and I just found a place for it in our theater where all our glowing clocks are. Yeah. It's not plugged in right now, but this glows orange. It's a beautiful thing when it's plugged in. So kudos to Vince, who is constantly growing his collection and just shipping it up to the Museum of Root Beer. Here's another box that just arrived this week. I'm going to pretend to open it right now. Yeah, there we go. Good thing it didn't just pop right out of there and smash on the floor. I don't know the story behind it, but packed in all this bubble wrap is an amazing embossed bottle. It's not debossed, I believe it's embossed. Pretty sweet, huh? And this will go into one of Vince's cases where he has many valuable and ancient bottles on display, which anybody can see if you visit the Museum of Root Beer in Wisconsin Dells. So people are constantly bringing in cool stuff they think might work for the museum. Things that have some kind of a connection. I don't have this person's name. Oh, you know what? I think I do. I think it was the author, David Geiger. He brought in this book, The Tantalizing Tale of Sassafras Sal. So there's some root beer references in this novel, some themes. I haven't read it yet, but we have several root beer related books on display, and that'll make a really nice addition. And there's a special story behind this package. I know what's in here. Can you guess what's in here? It's kind of heavy. I have grand plans for what's in here, and I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to keep this wrapped up until another episode. I'm thinking of having a whole episode just based on opening this box and doing something with the contents. I'll have to move the camera into a test kitchen. That's a little hint. But don't even try to guess. I'm not going to answer. Well, we're 15 minutes away from the new year. And you guys are, when we get there, are going to have to look at your own clocks because my phone is tied up. I was going to have a countdown. I should have a big clock behind me, but I don't. But when I see 1200 pop up, as I said, I'm going to pull one of these levers. And in the edited video, you'll see those levers. I'm not going to start moving the cameras around. I don't have this set up good enough yet. I'm so tempted to just turn it this way, but I can't yet. And I will choose a root beer, and I will toast you. out of this plastic 5-ounce cup. I've got Baumeister to choose from, Sprecher, Point, and Abita. And I know which one I want. It's not that I don't appreciate the others or even love them, but when I pour it, I'll just tell you that it's just one that I kind of favor, especially on tap. Alrighty. So now is the next little section of this program where I look ahead to 2023. The Q&A continues, and I'm just going to pause for a second, and I'm going to read Brant's comment. His latest says, Sprecher's been swiping up other brands recently, I've noticed. Yeah, which ones? Which ones have you heard, Brant? Yeah, Sprecher is there, and I'll give you one clue. I love Sprecher root beer, but I'm not going to choose it. So it's going to be Baumeister, Point, or Abita. What do you think I'm going to take? Yeah, I'm really going to love the Q&A portion, or the Q&A aspect of doing videos from the Museum of Root Beer. And if Brant doesn't answer me, I'm going to have to do some research, because that's one aspect of the Museum of Root Beer that is really interesting. So many of these brands of root beer that people have enjoyed for years and generations are going away. They are disappearing. And a lot of times the finger of blame gets pointed at one of the big soda companies. A big soda company comes and buys this little one and then kind of puts it to bed, doesn't promote it anymore, and sometimes they just fizzle and die. Oh, thanks for that thought, Brant. So with only 11 minutes, I'm going to give you a little preview, maybe some teasers about what's coming up in 2023 as far as the museum goes, new displays, or new collections. So in this case, I'm going to wet my whistle one more time. So if any of you have been in the museum and have been in the theater that I added to it in 2022, it's a little, you could call it like an 8-seat theater, but I have a flat screen in there and 11 minutes worth of root beer commercials. You can use your phone to vote for your favorites commercials, your favorite performances, your favorite music. So there are several categories. It's kind of like the Academy Awards of old root beer commercials that you may not remember. So coming up is Volume 2. I had enough for 30 to 40 minutes of root beer commercials, so I thought nobody's going to sit in there for 40 minutes. So I split it up into 3. So there you go. That's one thing to look forward to at the Museum of Root Beer. A brand new set of root beer commercials. I'll also get the results of the voting, and I'll add that to the video. So that's going to be fun. And let me just plug one more time the newly created Patreon Museum of Root Beer, not product, account. It's for awesome people who want to support the Museum of Root Beer on a monthly basis, and there are several tiers. I invite you to go to patreon.com/Museum of Root Beer and become a patron of the Museum of Root Beer and help us survive, help us grow, help us go forward and do a whole bunch of awesome things, awesome improvements and additions to the Museum of Root Beer. When you go there, you'll see the tiers, and you'll see a list in the explanations or in the introduction to the Museum of Root Beer Patreon page. It'll give you an idea of all the things that the museum needs. And secondly, our new Museum of Root Beer YouTube page. If you go and subscribe, there's nothing there, but subscribe anyway. As of New Year's Eve, there are no videos because I just created it. This video will be there, edited with additional cool things added to this video, images. Steve Krager, I saw your question. What do you think? I'm gonna just drink root beer all night. I'm saving it for midnight. No, really, when I talk, I need water just to keep my mouth from drying out. It's a good question. He asked, what are you drinking, water? What's going on? But yeah, I have 4 root beers to choose from in 7 minutes when midnight strikes, and I will toast you, as I've said, with this awesome plastic shot glass, unbreakable. Back to 2023, we have a brand new exhibit that just came online. I don't know what that means, but I created it over the last several months, collecting little bits of this and little bits of that, and creating the signage. And you'll see, it's a fragrant exhibit that you can go through, lean over, and sample the exotic flavors that go into a beverage that shall not be named. No, it's root beer. But I invite everybody to come and enjoy the new things that we're going to do for 2023. More water for Steve Krager. Cheers. We are getting a flat screen, and I'm putting together a new video that will give museum goers a sampling of the enthusiasm that's out there on the internet and in social media groups. Have any of you gone to YouTube and watched people doing taste tests of root beers? There are a lot of them. And so I'm putting together a cool video of various root beer enthusiasts who have contributed some pretty neat content, and it's a part of our display about root beer and popular culture. One more thing from for the sake of the Q&A, another question from Brant. Got anything in the works to get presents at things like the Muhammad Soda Fest? Yeah, some sort of portable mini exhibit. I think is that the festival in June? That would be fun. Another sneaky idea I have is for the auto show in Wisconsin Dells every May. Right outside the window here at the Museum of Root Beer, it's bumper to bumper traffic. If you ever have a chance to get stuck in traffic, come on up. And it's actually bad for business. It clogs up all the roads. Speaking of festivals, and It's literally from the stoplight here 3 blocks that way, just almost a standstill for the entire afternoon. The traffic moves a little, but so here's my idea, my sneaky idea, because they don't sell permits for this in Wisconsin Dells. You know, I think I'll have to edit this out, just for the sake of keeping my nose clean. But like a baseball game, the vendors with their trays full of drinks, walking up and down the aisles. I'm literally going to walk through the traffic and sell root beer, cold root beer, to people through their windows. I'm betting I'll sell 50 in 10 minutes because it's hot. And you know what? It's time to get ready. I am going to pour, drum roll please, a point. It's all foam, of course, but it's coming down. So less than a minute to go. I want to thank all of you who jumped in and wanted to catch up on the Museum of Root Beer and hear a couple things that are coming up. I'll be reviewing a lot more that's oh, hold on. Brant says less than 1 minute since you're an hour off from me. Oh, Brant's in the Eastern time zone, but in the Central time zone, we're about to experience the new year. So, Happy New Year. My phone just turned midnight. Clink, clink. Yeah, that's a good way to bring in the new year. It's the only way at the Museum of Root Beer anyway. Well, we can do some more Q&A, but I just want to make sure I tell all of our fans, all of our customers, and heck, maybe some vendors are watching, and all of our root beer friends and associates, Happy New Year. And 2022 was better than 2021 for us. And our third season is coming up in 2023 this year. And we hope it's better than ever. So Happy New Year. Hey, Dwayne Beezer, an old friend, just said Happy New Year from Canada. I think he's in the Mountain Time Zone. But again, thank you all for your participation and your support of the Museum of Root Beer. Again, I'm trying to get something going here to help us continue. So I'll remind you that we have a new Patreon channel. If you go to patreon.com/Museum of Root Beer, you can become a supporter, a monthly supporter of what we're trying to do here to preserve root beer history and improve this museum we've built. And also our new YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. There's nothing there now, but there will be soon, and we hope to create some really fun and cool content on a regular basis. So if you're subscribed, you'll hear about it when we do drop new videos. Point Brewery up in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. They make a really good draft root beer. That was my choice out of our four draft root beers. Any other questions? Oh, my wife says Happy New Year. Thanks, Amy. I see your chat. Yeah, this is probably the first New Year in almost 30 years that we haven't been together. We're close though. I'm at the museum, she's at home. But Happy New Year, Amy. And any other questions? Our viewers are starting to drop off. If no other questions come in, I will call it a night and let you all back to your families. And I hope you all have an amazing New Year. And if the Museum of Root Beer and you can have a relationship, or I mean, that sounded weird. Am I drunk off of root beer? Am I starting to slur? No, I just had one shot of root beer. Yep, my good friend Brant, who's on our donor wall already from when we first had our fundraiser to start this museum, sends in another question. If we ever talked to the brewmaster here in Wisconsin Dells for a brand of our own label, or maybe you're asking if Wisconsin Dells root beer, if we talk to them. Yeah, that's a good question. We were talking about doing a house brand and doing a custom label, calling it the Museum of Root Beer, so to speak. And the answer is yes, but that brand of root beer, Wisconsin Dells brand, they do not do custom labeling, or they weren't willing to at that time when I contacted them. I've talked to a couple of others, and I didn't find anything that made sense price-wise. I think we might be able to sell more bottles if our label was on it, but they cost more, so it wasn't that important to us at this time, and it's not that important to our customers. So yeah, we're gonna table that idea. I think when we have the Museum of Root Beer or Root Beer Revelry on a label of root beer that we sell, it'll be our own creation. It won't be another brewmaster's root beer. Good question. Well, that was a good one to end the night on. It is a future consideration. I have got so many other plans for this root beer related endeavor, and I'm excited to share more with you all. So please subscribe to this YouTube channel, and again, go over to patreon.com/Museum of Root Beer and become a supporter. And in our next video, we'll talk more about behind the scenes at creating this museum, perhaps, and diving into more of our plans for 2023. There's a lot more to share, and I thank you again. Thanks for joining us, and one more time, Happy New Year. And I'm still live, and you're gonna watch me turn this off. I'm gonna edit this out too. And there's a finish button. You know, speaking of finish, we have the words root beer written in Finnish. Little pun there. So I'm gonna hit finish to end. Talk to you later. Talk to you soon. Bye.